Welcome to the Start Me Up podcast, part of the Sexy Liberal Podcast Network in association with Muller, She Wrote Media. I'm your host, Kimberly Johnson in D.C. Today, my returning guest is Andy Kindler. I love Andy. He's so funny. We have so much to talk about, but before we get into it, the Start Me Up podcast is independent, listener-funded, and woman-run. Visit patreon.com/startmeup to see the variety of tiers offered, including the option to get 2 bonus What's Up episodes per week. Kind of like my online journal where I get a little more personal and talk about whatever is on my mind. There's also an ad-free tier with a much shorter intro. Just visit patreon.com/startmeup. Now please enjoy my conversation with comedian Andy Kindler. Welcome back to the show, Andy.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been many years, or it's been yes. Everything I do now is evergreen. So, like if I'm talking to you, I might even say 8 minutes to the hour. You don't know what hour it is, but you know what I'm saying? Keep it evergreen. And that's why we won't be talking about any current political things.
See, this is why I love having you on the show. Because you're so effing funny, but you are a comedian, so it fits.
Well, that's what my business card used to say. You want the comedy? I have it. You want alienation? Do you like to be alienated from your comedy? I'm your man.
Okay, before we get into some of the political stories that are because we're going to be all over the map today, just FYI listeners. I have all kinds of questions for him, not just political. We're going to be talking about fun stuff too, but
how fun really is it going to be for the listener when you hear it? Andy, you have a great story about Stratego that you'll be telling later on. You know what Stratego is?
No, I don't.
Oh, it's a bad board game from when we were kids.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, see, this is exactly, you just make me laugh all the time. Before we get into on the questions, now I know, I can't even remember all of your IMDb stuff, but I do remember you from Everybody Loves Raymond, and I just can't remember some of the other, I'm a bad host because I should
You talking about some of my early credits?
Yes.
Well, I was on, my first thing was I was on Martin.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, my friend John Ridley used to write for Martin, and so that was my first gig.
Wow. How was it? Was it fun? Were you scared?
I mean, not my first gig. I did a lot of summer camps. In summer camp,
right.
I did comedy, but
that was like your
college,
first TV show or something.
What's that?
Was that your first TV show?
Yes, it was. I'm trying to think. Am I leaving anything out? But it's a short. Oh, you know what it is?
Huh.
It's my first acting
gig,
show,
right?
Because that was the time period with where they had. I came up when they had all those this on the road comedy hour on the evening at the Hoo Hoo and VH1 stand up spot. All those stand up shows. So I did a lot of those before I acted. That probably helped me. Maybe.
So now obviously you had already been on stage and you were a comedian and all that. So I don't know how it would affect you nerves wise to be an actor on a set. So how was that?
Nerve-wracking, very well. Oh, I just realized there was another one. Okay, so I did Martin, but then I wonder if this was pre-Martin or after Martin. I did this sitcom called Muddling Through. It was a pilot that was made, and Jennifer Aniston was in it.
Really? Wow.
And had it been picked up, she wouldn't. It was the year of Friends. So had it been picked up, she would not have been. She would have had to have been on the show Muddling Through. Do you remember Stephanie Hodge?
No. Who's that?
She was a comic from Minneapolis, and she was on the show. And so I had a very short scene, but within the scene, I had to walk in, put a cardboard cutout down, hit my mark. And I mean, I really thought this really is going to be neurosis. What is it called? It's not a brain. It's going to be like brain surgery. It's like, how could you act if I didn't put it perfectly so that you could see the people behind me? Then the scene would be terrible. So either my acting had to go, or either my acting had to go, which I decided on, or I would have to pretend to look down at the mark. No, I walked onto the set looking at the mark, ferociously, fiercely, only focusing on the bare essentials of acting.
Was it scary? Like, were you nervous?
I was very nervous. So that one, I was very nervous. And Martin, I was nervous for too, because I I suffered from and still have OCD, but I suffered from it more then. An OCD, I think is whatever field you're going into.
Mhm.
It's usually not a good trait because it just makes you keep thinking over and over, how am I doing? How am I looking? How am I doing?
Yeah.
You know, can they tell I'm acting? Can they tell I'm acting? Can they tell I'm acting? Do they tell I'm acting? Can you tell I'm acting? Ray, between takes. Ray, how's my acting? No, I didn't go like that,
Right.
but that was.
But you
Random
were
was one of
nervous.
those
But you
things,
had because for instance, I've only really been on Days of Our Lives. I mean, I was on Mad About You, but I didn't have any lines, so I wasn't nervous. But I remember, I think it was like the third time I was on Days of Our Lives, and I was so nervous. But then when I watched my performance, I didn't look nervous at all. So I was like, well, at least there's that.
That's I think what all people who act do. They first of all, we're not good at looking back at ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody is, unless you're I mean, I have narcissistic tendencies, but not in a positive way.
Okay.
Right? Where it's like, you know that you're doing it. You know, it's like Larry Sanders, how's my hair?
Yeah.
I mean, Gary Shandling, right? It's supposed to be humorous.
Oh my God. Well, but you've had an amazing career, and it's always good. And then it's always good to see you coming down my feed, because I agree with you so much of the time, especially when you go off on Bill Maher, who we're going to talk about him in a minute. We're not going to get to him right away. But
whatever you want to
such a
talk about,
dick.
I'm ready to talk about. But when you said Bill Maher, all of a sudden, like, I got my negative pheromones, whatever that is.
I know,
Remember
right?
when pheromones were big back in the old days?
Yes, they were. So, okay, let's just get to the news of the day. The exciting news of the day is that the Proud Boys have all been I think all but one were indicted, or not indicted, I'm sorry, charged with seditious conspiracy. So I'm not sure about that fifth one. I think 4 of them were charged with it. So that's really good. And I don't know what that means for Trump, but I think that's good for America. Don't you think that's good for America?
Yeah, that's, are you talking about Dominic Pizzola?
Yeah, I don't know their names.
Name, something like that.
Yes,
and his thing was, he didn't want to go to jail. So he was like, okay, maybe it looks bad with the bashing end of the thing. It looks like I'm bashing in. People go, whoa, well, that guy's violent. You can't go by me bashing one door in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I just have, in the excitement, as we all get at insurrections, he was much like Burning Man.
Yeah.
He wanted to get into that door. But here's the thing. I'm very excited about Enrique Danny Terrio.
Yes.
No, Enrique Danny. His nickname is Danny Terrio. Yeah. He is going to Danny Terrio. Could I get sued by Danny Terrio? I don't even think I'm getting his name right.
And
what was that show?
I was just going to ask you what
it
was, that dance show. I don't remember the name of it.
Danny Terrio. It was like it wasn't like Dick. I can't even think of his name. Dick was his first name for years. He did New Year's Eve, and Clark.
Oh, Dick Clark, yeah. Danny Terrio.
But,
let's see, where is it? I'm trying to. Of course, Dance Fever. There you go.
Dance Fever, right? Well, Enrique Terrio is getting 2 more years than everybody else.
Wow.
For smoking.
Are you kidding me?
No, I just thought it'd be funny. I thought it'd be funny if they tack that on. And look at the asshole, he's smoking. Everywhere
that would be funny. Yes, because it was before. Well, yeah, it was before the House decided that they could smoke, in their offices. So I was maybe that actually happened.
Oh wait, the House can smoke?
I think that they can smoke inside the Capitol now.
How would you find out? That sounds like something they. Good Morning America,
or wherever they are.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know because they voted on it, and I don't know if I guess it was a House rule, so I guess they can do it. This is fucking. These Republicans are so unbelievable. I can't even get over it.
I know it's like you really can't catch your breath.
I know.
It's like for example, I heard somebody the other week on TV, and I don't know who they were even. So you can't watch CNN mostly because it's terrible. But and then this was terrible too. But it was like whoever the person was saying, well, the Democrats, they're trying to push this thing like we do have a problem with the deficit. We do have a problem, and Democrats have to come back. And this is like such bullshit to me. Where were you, those people, when they were passing big, huge tax breaks?
Yes.
It's like it's such a lie. It is not about the deficit. If it was really about the deficit, we should have listened to Gore and his lockbox, and we should have listened to
exactly.
Every time we've tried to. The Democratic Party has tried to be reasonable about anything with debt. They are so evil. They just want to, what's the thing is like, we're just going to cut everything back to current standards, or we're just going to say you have to come back every year.
Yeah.
I'm sure I already know people have been affected by the food thing, getting less for the EBT or
right. Yes.
SNAP or something.
SNAP. Yeah.
It's like, it is uber evil.
Yeah, they're just cruel. I mean, they are so cruel, and it makes me angry because when I think about, like, I always in my head I have certain conservatives that I just kind of bounce off of in my head, and one of them is a family member. Then there's the chicks on the right. Are you familiar with the chicks on the right?
No.
Oh, they're just horrible. They're absolutely horrible. And I was made aware of them in 2012 because I was the spokesperson for Rock the Slut Vote. And of course, chicks on the right had a field day with me and a field day with Rock the Slut Vote. But that was all born out of Rush Limbaugh referring to Sandra Fluke as a slut. And so
okay.
Remember
him, that asshole? He's still rotting in hell.
Exactly.
In hell. I just got a report.
Yes. And so during that time, this woman created Rock the Slut Vote because she was so upset, and she asked me to be the spokesperson because she found my blog, Open Letter to Rush Limbaugh from a Liberal Slut, and history was made, of course. But then these two women, who were just everyday women, they were so outraged that Obama became president, and so they, formed the Chicks on the Right, and they're so horrible. So I imagine, sometimes the cruel things that I hear Republicans doing, it's like in my mind's eye, I try to have a conversation with them where they're going to be reasonable and go, oh yeah, we're really cruel, but they never do. They just always find justification. And it's exhausting. And I hate it so much. I hate it.
I hate it. And it's like, to me, I would love to have a two-party system. But that's not it's not right now my job to get that second party going. They have to be defeated. Every Republican, there's not one Republican in the entire country that you should be voting for.
Yeah, I know. But then it's like they're just going along with the stuff that, I mean, it's basically coming from emotional, whether it's revenge feeling or like vengeance or angry people. Like, for instance, I'm not going to get into who, but I know this person who's a MAGA. And prior to being a MAGA, they were not really an angry person, but certain things in their life, right, set them up to be angry. And they didn't want to blame the real reason, so they took it out on another family member who was liberal and just decided to hate on the liberal. And it's so basically what it is you've got this person who made choices that they're not happy with. And they're now living with those choices. And then Rush Limbaugh comes in and goes, hey, it's okay to be angry at liberals. It's okay to blame liberals for all of your, anger and resentment in life. And then that's basically the message that these people are getting, especially when they're listening to toxic talk radio. And then it just like that anger turns, whether it's family members or friends or Democrats or whatever. And you can see it playing out. And it's literal brainwashing, and it's just so awful. And the thing that's really scaring me, and I don't know if you have any words to calm me down for this, but are you aware of what's going on in Texas with this voting that they're gonna like make it so they can overturn whatever legitimate outcome there is? The Republican in charge of, I don't know all the labels and titles, but the Republican in charge would be able to basically just throw it out and call it for the Republican. And that could really fuck up our elections. And I mean, it's Texas. So there's no oversight over there. They get to pretty much do what they want because they have I believe a supermajority, or at least a majority. So that's the thing that's scaring me the most today, aside from SCOTUS. But I mean, I don't
Well,
even know what
that's
to make of that.
well, Ted Cruz. I mean, Ted Cruz is coming up for election. So,
Yes.
Gloria Allred's son is running.
That's who it is?
No, I just made that up. I don't even think
I
it's
can't
spelled
fucking
this way.
believe you, man. I'm gonna fall for everything you
I got
say.
you on that.
You're
I
gonna
can't
get me on
believe-
everything. My fucking dad does that to me all the time. He's like, "Did you hear?" And then he'll say something completely ridiculous, and I'm like, "Really?" And it's never true. He does it to me all the time.
Yeah, it should be. These are. I think what's crushing about it is, it's always been bad
Hmm.
for people like us. Who anybody can remember the past. It's always been terrible.
Yeah.
It's always been Vietnam War, terrible.
Mhm.
Martin Luther King, terrible.
Mhm.
It always has been terrible. Except I grew up. I was born in '56, so I grew up. Believing in peace and all that kind of
Mhm.
stuff, which I still believe in to this day. So
Yeah.
it's like, I still don't want to get up in the morning and take the glass and break the glass, be it half empty or half full, just throw it against the wall. No, that's what I would like to do. But it's so
I know.
blatant.
Mhm.
They got, when I moved out to LA in 1978, and I graduated college. I was actually selling door to door. What a terrible job! But the thing was, this guy I was selling with was like a right wing guy, and he was giving. This was back right after remember when the interest rates used to be so high, and the inflation was, the recession was, was so out of control.
Yes.
And Reagan went in there, and everybody, they bought into his
Yes.
thing, and so it got slightly better with Watergate. Then it got way, way worse with
Mhm.
that, and then all of a sudden, like, what can make it worse? Oh, why don't we do a thing in Iraq?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go back
exactly.
into Iraq again.
Yeah, it's like back and forth, back and forth. But I want to go because I moved to LA in '77. I was born in '68, so I was 9 when I went over there
Wow.
in
Little
'77. Isn't it so different? It's so different now. Don't you think it's like so different than that time?
Yeah, it is different, but here's the thing. I would say that I'm actually let's look at, how they always on the TV, they go, let's look for the green shoots. What is that what they say?
Wait, say
You know
that
what I'm
again.
talking about?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, like when things are bad, there's green shoots of positivity.
Oh,
They
okay.
call that, like, I'm saying it wrong, but it's like you see a little bit of something new
Yes.
growing. It's like those guys like Frost and all those people. I don't remember where they were, South Carolina, whatever. These people are fantastic.
Mhm.
When I was their age, I could barely, put my joint down long enough to make these kind of statements. So this is very encouraging to me, and I want people to don't buy into these horrible people online who are trying to. What would you call these people? Putin puppets or
Maybe.
whatever?
Yeah.
Jimmy Dore
Oh, yeah.
people or comedians,
Yeah.
and they're just playing to the lowest common
Mhm.
denominator ever. They're
Mhm.
literally in the old days, it'd be like someone could argue, oh, well, I'm arguing for conservative. No, it's like, no, I'm arguing for that Putin's right, and he
Right.
should have taken over Ukraine because of the Wagner Group.
I never even heard of the Wagner Group.
Well, there's supposed to be some Nazis. See, here's the thing. It's like, to me, if I see a website that says, if I see an account that says free Assange,
Uh-huh.
I can at least mute that person.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Even if you think Assange should be free, which I don't,
No.
but let's say you do.
Right.
Is that really uppermost in your mind right now?
With all the shit that's going on.
God damn it. Assange is still. Oh, you mean Assange? Maybe one of the worst human beings in the
Yes.
history of the world, who actively tried to make Hillary Clinton lose. That was
Yeah.
his job. This misogynistic. Was he ever convicted of sexual whatever?
I don't know, but I think he's at least been accused.
He's at least been accused. And you know what? These days, with the way the fake news, accused equals guilty, my friend. If the
There
argument,
you go.
and when I say alleged in my arguments, I go, allegedly you have a response to this. That's all I do. I go for the jugular.
I love
I
your
go
laugh.
for the jugular. The jugular.
Your laugh is the best.
Oh, thank you. No, my sister is no longer with us. She had the
Oh.
exact same laugh.
Really?
And yeah, and my wife Susan laughs the same way too, and she loves it. If you say to her, if you ever meet her and say to her, "Hey, I heard you copied your husband's laugh," is that true? She loves that.
I'll be sure to say that.
Right after the about how great it is, you must. Right after you say to her how great it is to live with a comedian, how great is it,
Right.
right?
All
No
right.
narcissism. It's a narcissism-free zone.
Oh, I just adore you. You're so cute.
I'm an egomaniac.
No, but you're
whatever happened to
cute.
those days?
No, you're cute. I love you. Okay.
No,
so,
I think I love the old school egomaniac better than narcissistic.
oh,
You know what I mean?
Right.
We didn't
exactly.
have that
yes.
back when we.
No,
well,
that's we didn't. Well, we had narcissists, but we just didn't say it all the time. An egomaniac.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what we said. We just called them.
We didn't say
egomaniacs.
flip the script either, did we?
I don't know.
Not when I was a kid. I don't remember playing hide and seek. Go whoa! Let's flip the script on this hide and seek thing. Flip the script.
Yeah, I don't remember saying that as a kid either.
Or wait, what? Wait, what is my
Wait,
big
what?
pet peeve? Wait, what? Wait, what? Pet peeve I have. Why am I so giddy now that I'm not going to get any more work with the strike and everything? Should I be
No.
upset?
Hey, that's true. So now, how is this affecting you?
Well, obviously it's the second day,
Right.
and so it hasn't affected me. But to me, when we went, and I'm a pro. I enjoy the unions.
Yes.
I don't say it that way normally on my on my picket thing. But back when they did it last time, it was very confusing, and they did it just as the recession had just
Yeah.
after the big financial collapse. I think this time everybody is going to be more effective because it's clearly that they're saying is like, yeah, well, we just, this trend of us paying like now we're down to $23 an hour to be an executive producer.
Yeah.
It's like I think people see that these people need the money, and that I'm hoping unions are they are already coming back, but I hope they come back more.
Yeah, me too. I mean, talk about whenever these Republicans talk about like the 1950s and everything, it was a really strong middle class, and unions give us a strong middle class. My
Right.
mom's father was a truck driver, and he was in a union, and so
Yeah, what
it's
was
like-
so wrong about that? What was so
Yeah.
wrong in the 50s about paying automobile workers well?
right? Exactly.
I mean,
yeah.
even the racist, anti-Semitic Henry Ford, didn't he also say he has to get it down to a price where where even Jews he knows can buy one? Isn't that what he said?
I don't know.
Henry Ford was anti-Semitic.
Yes,
I'm not
I do
making
know
up.
that. I do know that. But I didn't hear that particular quote.
Well, if you go back through history,
Uh-huh.
you will see that, like, around the Middle Ages up to, and even now, the best that people will say about the Jews is, well, they're annoying. We never got anything. We were never seen positively because we were always a good group to
Right.
persecute.
Of course.
And then we always got into these jobs that only we were allowed to get. Like, oh,
Mhm.
what do you want from me?
Mhm.
Nobody's allowed to be a money lender. That would have been me. Did you ever hear? Here's me back in pre World War II Nazi Germany. Ready?
Uh-huh.
Somebody's got to play the Jew. What are you guys getting upset about? It's a Nazi propaganda film. I'm against it. I'm just playing the Jew in it. Is that wrong?
You know what? I was not raised with religion in any way, other than the fact that my grandmother was a Catholic, but she never pushed it on me. She was a
That sounds so funny. My grandmother was a Catholic, but that's all we heard of it.
Well, actually, she did take me the year that my mother moved to California. I was 9 years old, so I stayed with her for the summer as my mother drove out and established herself and everything. So I was only 9. So my grandmother would take me to church because she didn't feel comfortable leaving me home alone. So, but she didn't expect anything or she never really talked about it. She went for herself. She never pushed it on me. She was really a good
Right.
Catholic because, she didn't do that. But my experience with Catholicism and most organized, aside from the Jewish religion, I felt were like people would want to push it on you. And my father, who I guess he was raised Catholic, but he's nothing, he doesn't subscribe to any kind of religion, but he married a woman who's Jewish. And so that was kind of my introduction. I met her, I don't know, like when I was 6 years old or whatever. And that was my introduction to the Jewish religion. And basically I thought it was awesome. And then on top of it, my mother, she converted, which I know that the Jewish religion doesn't really recognize converted people the same way.
Don't ask me, because I don't really, to me, it's like I've got half a ham on a platter before someone goes, whoa, 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 why?
Well,
I'm serving bacon too? I can't serve bacon and ham?
Well, when my mom switched out, when she joined, I wish I could remember the name of the synagogue, but we used to go every Friday night. And I had so much fun because it was like afterward there was, the actual, whatever, I don't know what you call it when you're in a synagogue. I don't know what you would call it when you listen to temple, I guess, when you listen
temple
to whatever
service or something
service,
like
right? When you listen to this
service,
I was bored with that. But I was a kid. But then afterward was that whole meeting, like party atmosphere. Everybody brought food.
Schmoozing,
it was awesome.
exactly.
Yeah, that was fun. I really liked it, and nobody ever pushed it. It was like just they practiced.
Yeah, but Orthodox Jews,
I know. Well, they're different.
Saying like, yeah, and it's like it's so hard for people to talk about this because it's like people say, "Have you been to Israel?" No, I haven't been to Israel. I'm not going right now. I'm not going right now. It's not a religious thing. Stop being evil, Netanyahu. Netanyahu is evil.
Yes, he is.
His religion is part of it.
Yeah,
but he's using his religion as a tool, as a weapon.
So are you always asked about going to Israel?
No, but it always comes up. Like since I have OCD, and I'll hear you'll talk to someone and go, yes, and even apropos of nothing. When I was 30 years ago, I went to Tel Aviv. It's like I just take it as no OCD. I'm not going there. No, I'm not going there. No, I'm not going there, and I'm not going to go there. I already have enough things to defend in this horrible country.
I know.
I'm not going to be going over there. And
no
it's a joke that I'm very happy with. And when I was a kid, you could give to an organization, and they would plant a tree in Israel in your name. Now that same organization, they will remove a settler from the West Bank in your name, in your name. And then there's just a little plaque. Shmomi was here. But we kick him out. We kick Shmomi. Shmomi, you weren't well liked in Israel, I hear. No. Why are you over here? Why are you over here where Okay, that's it. I'm good. I think I've done well. I can tell when I'm slipping from a viable point to beating a dead horse.
Well, when you said that name, it reminded me my mother decided to become Jewish because she was dating this guy who was Israeli, and that it wasn't because of him. She found the religion really fascinating, but that was kind of like her inspiration. And I remember though she went out with this guy. His name was Shlomi. And he was so fucking cute, though. I remember he came up to pick her up for the day, and I think she met him, or somehow she was set up with him through Temple. It was some guy from Temple that set her up. But he came walking up the stairs. We lived in an apartment in Silver Lake, and he came walking up the stairs, and I was probably like 13, and even I was like, oh my God. I mean, he was gorgeous. But of course, he turned out to be a con man, so oh well. No Shlomi for my mother, but we were both like, my mother said when he came up the stairs, she was like, thank you. But oh well, didn't work out. No love match there.
Yeah, but you were also 13. See, do you see the thing? You were ready. You were already thinking, where's my bat mitzvah?
I know, exactly.
I could have had a wonderful bat mitzvah.
And I could have had a father or a stepfather named Shlomi.
There's no way that you would, if I was named Shlomi, that's the type of thing people, it's like, I wasn't born John was it Leibowitz? Is that what John Stewart's Leibowitz?
Oh yeah, I don't know what his last name is.
But if if my first name was Shlomi, I would not. I'd be changing that. There's nothing cool about Shlomi. How's it going, Shlomi? Hey, you picking up any babes, Shlomi?
Yeah, but Shlomi was picking up the babes because he was really
Picking
hot.
up the babes. Oh no, my heart belongs to Shlomi.
Oh my God. We have to take a quick break, but we will be back after this message. Hey, this is Kimberly. If you're not already my patron, just visit patreon.com/startmeup. You can take a look at all the tiers and decide how you want to support the show. Thank you so much. Okay.
Get ready for an unforgettable journey as Netflix unveils All the Light We Cannot See. Adapted from the Pulitzer Prize-winning novel, the limited series is a tale of hope, human connection, and action. It follows the lives of Marie, Laure, and Werner, who share a secret bond, set against the harrowing backdrop of World War II. Directed by Sean Levy, starring Mark Ruffalo and Hugh Laurie. Watch All the Light We Cannot See, now only on Netflix.
Now, let me just go over really quick. I want to read something. I don't know if you know this, but I know that you're not a fan of Elon Musk. But this is about Elon Musk, and then we can go off on Bill Maher. So, okay, now Omar Rivero, who's not my very favorite person in the world, but I don't hate him, so I just have to make that clear. He's with Occupy Democrats. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but he tweeted this out today. So, breaking: NPR drops bombshell, reveals that Elon Musk just sent them a series of angry emails threatening to revoke their Twitter handle and reassign it to another company if they don't start tweeting again. So I heard this the other day, and then so
wait a second now. Are they talking about Occupy Democrats?
No. Omar Rivero tweeted this. He is the head guy of Occupy Democrats.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
right.
He's basically tweeting out that we do know that Elon is threatening to reassign it to another company, which I guess a Twitter executive was shocked, and it said it should be alarming to any business operating on the site since it indicates that acquiescing to Musk's every whim must be necessary in order to avoid being impersonated on Twitter. So it just goes on and on. It's talking about what a dick he is, company's reputation. So it says here, in an email sent at 2:19 a.m. Eastern, after the story was originally published on the NPR website, Musk wrote a new email to NPR without any text in the body, but with the subject line, "You suck." Oh my God, he's such a fucking dick. So the reason I bring this up is because, I think it was last Friday, which I don't watch a show, but it always shows up on
He
the
had
internet.
God on last week. He had the law. Excuse me, I'm cutting my show short so that I may have the greatest man in the history of our civilization who could currently help me on.
He did. You were.
I thought you were leading to that.
What? That he had you on?
No, they had Musk.
Musk. Yes, he did. He had Musk on. No, I was leading. Sorry. Sorry, I just had a brain fart for a minute.
Sorry. Never be sorry in this business.
But yeah, I mean, they were talking about the woke mind virus. Woke mind virus. And I'm so fucking annoyed because I've just got to vent this, and then you can vent whatever you want. But,
Sure.
I was a big fan of Bill Maher. Not that I loved him so much, but I absolutely loved his show. It was a must-see every Friday night. I did not always agree with him. So when I criticize him now on Twitter, people go, "Oh, just because you don't agree with everything he says." I've never fucking agreed with everything he said. Even when I liked his show and liked him, I didn't agree with everything he said. So that's such a bullshit fucking argument.
Right.
And I just, God, that pisses me off.
He's always been an asshole.
Always,
even when
yeah.
his show was good.
Yes,
which
he's
it was
always
briefly
been
good.
Yeah, and it was good. And the thing is he's a smart guy. He knows what he's doing. But now it's like he is turning into that, like, get off my lawn right winger. What the fuck is going on with him?
Well, like this Club Random thing. People are sending me all these clips of awful things people have said when they go on Club Random. They start agreeing with them. It's like Sean Penn. I don't know what Sean Penn's agreeing with. It's like there's still people these days, Kimberly, who are still saying, "Oh yeah, those kids on the college campuses, relax already."
Yeah.
If you're still portraying what's happening on college campuses as the kids need to suck it up,
right?
Then you don't understand how propaganda works. It's like, that issue is dead to me.
Mm-hmm.
the kids on the college campuses. It was always bullshit. It was always a way to get a Nazi on campus. That's what it was. Always was, and you cannot convince me that it was ever a time period where progressive kids were really like, oh, I can't hear. I'm so sensitive. I can't hear any other messages that are outside of my belief system. When you hear, racism is racism.
Yeah.
All these things these people are terrible people. You're not going to fight for, if Albert Speer or, well, it's not Goebbels, but it's Goebbels' assistant is coming to talk to Harvard in 1937.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. And it's like, what is he so fucking angry at? What is his problem? Because he's coming from he's coming from a place of either frustration or anger.
I think he's racist, first of all. I think he's
agree.
Absolutely a racist. And the more the more you see white people hanging around talking about how it's okay to use the N-word.
Yeah.
The longer they talk about it, the more you go, why do you want to use the N-word so much? Because you're a racist.
Yeah.
He's so clearly a racist. And the other thing is, he's disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a woman. You must not like his, I'm not even kidding, like I'm phrasing it like a question. What do you think about his disgusting, misogynistic, overbearing hello doll? Remember that? He used to say, this is why America's messed up, because Richard Belzer would yell at Ann Coulter and Bill Maher go, this is why America's messed up. We can't hear different ranges of opinion.
Oh, God. Please. That's what his show was all about, right? Everybody's fucking opinion. Oh, Bill Maher.
Except that unless you were defending Muslims.
Yes, right.
It's like he gave birth to the worst people. I mean, gave a format, amplified, which I think is a good expression. He amplified Andrew Sullivan. Sam Harris, all of these people. I can't think of more, but there's a million of them. PJ O'Rourke is dead. Otherwise, he'd still be on.
Right. Yeah, and he just died recently.
The worst guest, but not only that, good guests sometimes who don't know what they're walking into.
Except for Katie Porter, because she always puts him in his place. So I'm happy to see her putting him. But did you know? I'm not going to tell the whole story because I've told it on the show a couple of times. But back in 2012, when I was the Rock the Slut Vote spokesperson, I actually got considered as a guest for that show, and instead they chose Ann Coulter. And now at the time, I mean, I didn't have a name. I don't really even have a name now, but back then nobody ever heard of me. And so I totally understood that I wasn't going to get chosen, but I believe it was the last show before the 2012 election. And so the woman that they had on the show was Ann Coulter. And I got so fucking angry that I emailed, I DM'd on, and this is how I got it. I found the producer on Facebook and I friended him, and I gave him this whole spiel. And I said that I was friends with Alan Thicke, and I totally played the Hollywood game, and I got considered to be on the show. And so when they chose Ann Coulter, I basically messaged him and chewed him out. It's like who the fuck am I? But
I'm embarrassed. I mean, I know people who produce the show, and it's like I've said so many horrible, not specifically about them, but after a while, like I recently said, if you're a writer on the Bill Maher on the Bill Maher program, that you get your own shower so you can rinse the hate off. Yeah. All day. I mean, it's just at some point it's ridiculous. At some point you're on a Nazified show.
Yeah, and then what you're seeing more and more is Republicans saying, "Oh, I can't believe I agree with Bill Maher," and it's like, why? I mean, he's becoming you.
But the Club Random is really bad because
what is that? I haven't heard of that.
That should be the only thing he does. It's his podcast where it's just him in this darkened room saying even worse things than he says on his regular show. Wow. And I keep thinking, this is all he should be doing. Yeah. This is all he deserves. He doesn't even deserve that. But you should only be available in darkened, hideous rooms where he's talking, where you're afraid that he's going to talk about sex in the next sentence because you know he's a pig.
Yes, you know he's a pig. And I saw him in person once, and it's so funny because it was 2008, and I was at this A-lister party all by myself, and there was all these. It was actually the party where I met. Well, no, I saw Alan Thicke, and then I later in 2012 pulled this whole thing to get on real time. and I found everybody on Facebook, and I schmoozed them, and I gave them like the Hollywood, I don't know, like, I can't remember the word I'm trying to find, but basically I just figured, all right, I'm going to say this and do this and actually, like I said, I did get considered, but I was at this party in 2008 with both of them, and Bill Maher. I was standing all by myself, and I've got to say, I was at that time I was 30, I think I was like 32, so I looked fucking amazing. You know, I was like 6 foot tall,
Right.
gorgeous. I looked gorgeous, and I can say that now because I'm going to be 55 in July, so I can't
Right.
get in trouble for
You
bragging.
should own it.
And because I looked fucking awesome at that party. And so anyway, and I was all by myself. I didn't go with anybody. And so Bill, there was like all these celebrities everywhere. And so Bill and I'm 6 foot tall and he isn't. So he came walking by, and I remember I looked at him and I didn't like him. I remember thinking
Right. No, who
that
did
he was
back then?
dick. And I hadn't yet, like, Real Time wasn't on, at least if it was, did I say 2008? No, it was 2001, something like that. 2002, that's when it was. So I didn't like him then. And I thought he was gross, and I always thought he was gross on Politically Incorrect. And so I just looked at him, and then all those years, like, when I did like him, I thought, man, he walked right in front of me. I could have just tapped on his shoulder, and I know he would have talked to me because I was like this gorgeous statuesque woman, and
Right,
you know,
right.
but now
Hey,
I'm glad I
doll, how's it
didn't.
going, doll?
Now I'm glad I didn't, because I wasn't
thank
political then, and I'm sure he would have just only had one thing on his mind, which would have never happened ever. So
Yeah.
but that
No, but you know what? He's such an unpleasant person
Yeah.
in so many different ways that he's like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, he
like,
is.
if you are a misogynist and you can tell someone's a misogynist, it doesn't necessarily always work out that their politics are also going to be bad, because I know that there
yeah,
are
they
horrible
usually are. Yeah.
people in the Democratic Party too, but
Mhm.
just by the numbers, just who gets drawn
Hmm.
to, and you know, if you think about like all of, like, I think he even had like who's that guy who was the Dinesh the chef? Didn't he even
Dinesh?
have
Dinesh D'Souza,
on
yeah.
back in the day?
Yeah, I think he did. He probably did.
He's had every horrible person
Yeah.
on his show, and just like scary horrible.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm gonna start watching it again. You piqued my interest.
I get angry on Saturday morning when I see him trending, and it's like, no, not
Yeah.
again, not again. Fuck you.
And he knows he's trending because he wants. It's like, it's not like, oh, really? Did Fox News retweet me? No,
I know,
that's what
exactly.
he wants. He's going after that audience.
Yeah.
Because he has no core principles. He's just a bad person. And he's not only a bad person, he's a lazy person. Does not know about. It really steams me to know that someone could host these political
Right.
shows and know nothing about politics.
Well, and he also, I mean, the thing that done me in was when he told the Me Too movement not to go too far. And I just thought,
Oh.
Mr. fucking Playboy Mansion, you know, God only knows what you've done.
Oh.
And so he just,
Yes. Allegedly, I'm allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
allegedly,
this guy
allegedly.
is championing things that are good for him. Why should I? You know, it's like,
Yeah. Don't go too far, Me Too, because God forbid you
Yeah.
get to me.
don't go too far. Ridiculous. You know, like,
Fucking asshole.
Okay. Now you've got me. Now you've got my bile is actually, I don't know if it can move around your body, but it's actually creating a whirlpool.
Okay, now I'm going to switch gears. I'm going to ask you a question, but it's about something specific. It's about COVID. But first of all,
Sure.
I want to ask you: do you like and have you watched John Mulaney's most recent stand-up?
I loved his special. It was great.
So you okay? Now, now there's going to be a little bit of a spoiler here for anybody who hasn't seen it. Just skip ahead maybe 20 seconds. But there was that bit he did where he went to the poorly graded doctors so he could he could
Dr.
get his
Mike?
drugs. Yeah. So now there is the new bivalent booster available for people 65 and older, or if you're immunocompromised. So I am neither. And I just thought, maybe I'll take his advice. Maybe I'll go to some really shitty doctor with really bad reviews, because they want your business, and they will write you those prescriptions for whatever stupid drug you want. So it's like, maybe I should go to one of these doctors and tell them that I have asthma so that I can take it to CVS and get a bivalent shot. That's what I want to do.
I hate to brag to you, but all I have to do is show them my ID, for I am very old.
What now? Have you
Right this way, 66-year-old man. Get that Kimberly. Well, who is this Kimberly who's trying to horn her way into our supply? I'm getting it all though too. There's a thing like, don't you think I need to get the thing with the pneumonia? And then
right,
everything. They just came out with RSV today.
Oh my God! There's RSV. There's pneumonia. There's shingles. There's the flu.
Yeah, I had the shingles. I got the shingles vaccine.
No,
happy.
Did you get the second bivalent shot?
No. This is the one that's just available.
Yeah, that just became available.
No, I haven't gone. It sounds like it was a friend of mine who's also old said it wasn't in Walgreens, so she was going to check again.
I see. Well, I know my mom and my dad.
Silver-haired groups.
You're silver-haired. My mom and my stepdad. I mean, no. Take that back. My mom, my stepmom, and my dad have all gotten the shots. So I'm not even kidding. I'm seriously considering because he said, what is that place where everybody leaves Yelp? He's like, go to Yelp and go to the worst reviewed doctor, and that's your doctor. And so
I just can't. I just feel, Kimberly, this could really, really backfire. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you're right.
Remember when Joan Rivers went in for a routine whatever it was? What's she going for?
Well, I'm not going to get anything done to me. I just want a prescription.
I think if you go in, okay, so no spoiler alert, but within the Mulaney thing, he goes to visit a doctor who would prefer that either John be shirtless or he be shirtless. I don't remember. One of them had to be shirtless. And I've been
That's
there.
right. That's true. He did one, and it was at his home. It was at his, I think the doctor, you had to go to his home or something like that.
Yeah, because he said, look, get your shots, get your COVID boosters, all this, but don't believe this thing like every doctor. You can trust doctors.
No, right, exactly. And I'm not giving good advice, and nobody should do what I'm saying to do, and likely I will probably not do it. But it gave me that idea. I was like, that's how I can get my bivalent booster. Just go into it and say, I have asthma, and they'll go, okay, here's your asthma medication, and then I can just go take that to the CVS and go, see, I'm immunocompromised.
I'm just concerned that your desire to get this and your over-the-top acting could really affect you. Yeah, you go into it, excuse me, ma'am, excuse me. Could you move that away from the window?
So, okay, now let me ask you: Are you gonna get your second bivalent? Yeah. I'm jealous.
I've had, and I tell the kids I've got every shot I've ever gotten. But I've actually had bad reactions like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just there's something with my system. It's working really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because I get a little bit of chills and stuff.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I had a couple of times throughout the course of all these shots. I think I had 3 times where I felt kind of sick up until about 1 o'clock, and I wound up taking Advil, and everything was fine. So it was never terrible. But I did. Like some people get like fevers, and I had a higher temperature, but I didn't really have a fever, and I had body aches. I just felt like crap.
I had that fever, and I have very rarely get chills because I'm the other way. I'm turn the AC up.
That's
my
me.
wife is turn the heat up, and that's why the sitcom got sold so quickly.
Oh my God! See, you and I we're better for each other because we're both. I always want it cold. And my boyfriend's always got the freaking, oh my God, Bob Suska, he sits in his office and everything is sealed up. And like in my office, the windows are open, fans are going, unless the air conditioner is on, but fans are still going because I can't take it. And I go into his office and he's got his little space heater and it's like 150 degrees.
That's right. So it's not a gender thing. It's not, you would normally think it's the lady.
Right. Exactly.
The ladies are so dainty that the way they're constructed from Adam's rib.
Exactly.
But no, but my sister was hot all the time.
Yeah.
She's like, Did not matter. It could be the middle of winter, and she had.
I'm always hot. I fucking hate it. I hate it. I'd much rather be like, my girlfriend loved the summertime, and she would wear sweaters when it was like 90, and I'm like, what's fucking wrong with you? But I want to be like
that's
that.
why they call them sweaters. She said that like that. Really upset.
Okay, so now I want to ask just some silly questions.
Please do.
I want to know.
You know, I have a new expression for you. Ready?
Uh-huh.
I'm here for it.
I never heard that before.
No, they say that all the time.
I know. I'm just
here
kidding.
for it.
I'm here
It's
for
like,
it.
It's been a minute. They always say that. It's been a minute.
Or
It's been a lot.
or I did a thing.
I did a thing. Right? Well, that was my line.
Okay, so what are you doing for fun these days, especially considering we've got crazy GOP, everything's still on the line, democracy is not a given. So what do you do to just have fun and get out of the craziness?
Well, I hate to make it an exercise oriented thing because normally I hate that. But about 3 years ago, my type 2 diabetes numbers were getting worse. So I take metformin, but I'm walking like 3 miles a day, and that has changed my life because I used to try and jog my whole life. I took martial arts and all this kind of stuff. But the idea of running, I hated it so much. And the idea of walking is just great. And I'm blessed to not have any ailments. So that's really, I would say, changed my life.
How did it change your life? In what way?
Well, first of all, it's the only thing that made my weight go down that I could, and that's not true of everybody. Some people cannot lose weight unless you're like. Years ago, this doctor told me, well, you need to run 4 or 5 hours a day or something. I mean, it's crazy, but I never realized that when you get into the walking and you bring it up to a level where you can feel your body changing, and so, it's really, it changed everything about me, and also gets me outside.
Mm-hmm. But what were you doing when it was raining?
Depressed.
What were you doing when it was raining?
I walk. Well, I pretty much. Well, I've been very lucky, but I've walked like 5 hours after a storm, and I don't do anything like walk into the LA River, but I live in a fairly safe. We don't usually get flooded right in this 8-block area.
Yeah. And then
and
how much
weed? I smoke weed.
Oh, you do?
Weed.
And it's totally legal there. It's recreational there. It's going to be recreational here. Well, they voted for it to be recreational in Maryland, so I think it kicks in effect in July. So what kind of weed do you? You know what? Back in the day, people who smoked pot would have to find somebody who sold pot, and then they'd have to go to their house or wherever they would meet, and they would just buy a bag and get whatever they got. Now you go to a store and there's sativa and indica and there's mixes and there's names for it and there's all this shit and they call it flower, and it's all this whole new world. So I'm wondering, what kind of pot do you prefer?
Well, you're leading me into a joke. Hello, ladies. I'm sativa dominant. Sativa dominant in the streets, and I'm indica in the sheets. So no, I'm here for it, as they say. First of all, I've even done jokes about I'll do it. My lips don't feel funny. My lips could use a little THC salve. So I take it in every form.
Wait, so do you actually, there's a THC salve you put on your lips?
No, I made that up.
Oh, okay. But they do have those salves, though, that you could just put on.
Oh, yeah, I use it for your skin. I use it on my skin, too. I have psoriasis, which, it doesn't completely cure, but I am a cannabinoid believer. Years ago, I had a meeting at High Times. I was so excited about it. There was a guy there who was just before the legalization, he was just saying, cannabinoids, it's going to cure so many diseases.
Yeah. And
I'm here for it.
But do you prefer sativa or indica?
During the day, I prefer sativa, although you really can't always go by the strain. So sometimes it's a hybrid. But then at night, I like anything that I drink stuff at night that will put me to sleep, and not just my act.
And then, okay, so when you're when you got the nice high going and it's time to maybe like watch something, what are you tuning into?
Oh, okay. So I'm just crazy about biographies, and even to the point where I watched. Okay, I'm going to. This is a trick question. So it was going to be a trick question, but which of these? I was watching. What was I watching? I forget. But it was what was that movie? It was a really good one. It's about. Well, there's a lot of people like Chuck Leavell, who's a musician. I watch biographies and things. So I went the other day. Which one did I watch? It said coming up. Did I watch Hitler's Bodyguard? That's choice one. Did I watch Hunter Confidential? Oh, that's Hunter. Or did I watch Stalin's Daughter?
Oh, I'm supposed to figure this out. I'm going to
Yeah,
go
which
with
one is
Hitler's
it?
Bodyguard.
Right. And it's a trick question because my wife and Josh, who I do this podcast with, I'd already mentioned to them that I'd watched Hitler's Bodyguard. So that's a trick question because, of course, it would be Hitler's Bodyguard. But having watched it 2 weeks ago, I watched Stalin's Daughter.
How was that?
It was great. Well, I loved White Lotus.
Oh my God, me too.
I loved Succession till this. It's like I never joke about Succession because it's so great, but it's like I never knew that I'd have to be an actual mergers and acquisitions expert to watch the last season. It's very confusing to me. Into audio books now. Ricky Lee Jones memoirs, unbelievable. It's called The Last Chance Texaco.
I want to read that. I love Ricky Lee Jones.
I can't read anymore because I can, but I read like short articles, but I can't read anything long.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just devour audiobooks. So that one is amazing. I also got Lucinda Williams' memoir. Yeah, and then I listened to incredible thing about the horrible Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And then the one about Sumner Redstone was amazing. James, whatever. I'm obsessed with, because I have OCD, so if I can get my mind on something else, it's great. So if I go on my walk, I listen to those kind of things. And there's a couple of documentaries in ones. There's one called Chuck Leavell. He used to be the keyboard player for the Allman Brothers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The one about David Geffen is great.
I don't think I don't.
Documentary.
Did I see that? I might have. Do you watch any like regular, say not like network TV shows, but just like cable shows?
Well, that's the thing. It's like there's so many things I've missed. Like I never saw Barry, so like there's things I need to catch up with.
Yeah, and
So,
you got to check out
like Barry?
Shrinking. Have you heard of Shrinking?
No.
I want you to watch it and tell me what you think. It's really good. Do you know who Jason Segel is?
Of course, I love him.
Okay, well,
I loved him when he was in the that movie that was called something about somebody.
Sarah
or
Marshall.
The thing about
something
Jeff,
about
or-
Sarah Marshall. Is that what it is? I
Well,
think
no,
it is.
no. It was like the thing about. It was around that time period.
Oh, okay.
But it was the thing about Jeff. It's done by what they call those guys. Mumblecore, but it's not really true. Mumblecore, the two brothers, and one of them was on the morning show, which I actually had a love-hate relationship with. That show. Did you watch the morning show?
Yes, I love it. Why do you hate it or love hate it?
Oh, I don't hate it. I kind of love it, but it's a little bit soap opera to me.
Yeah, but that's what I like about it.
I know. It totally got me. Please do not misunderstand me. I was glued
Yeah.
to the Matt Lauer guy, and
Well, you have to
in
check
Italy
out
and the whole
Shrinking.
thing.
Shrinking has Harrison Ford, and it's Harrison Ford and Jason Segel, and there's this woman on it, and I don't know her name, but I fucking love her. And they all play shrinks, and I think Harrison Ford is the one who like owns the company, the business, whatever. And it's set in Pasadena. I talked about this on my show last week because I fucking love it so much. It's only one season right now, 10 episodes, so we just got through it so quickly. But it's set in Pasadena, and oh my God, every time I see Pasadena, I just love Pasadena.
I love anything that shows like, yeah, I do. It's like watching the old Columbos. They had a lot of great mansions in Pasadena.
Oh, and then speaking of Columbo, have you seen Poker Face?
Yes, I loved it.
I
love
love Poker
everything
Face.
she does, and
I
that was
know.
really great.
She's so cute. I love her. I just love that show. That was such a fun show. So
I liked Paul Feynman.
Paul Feynman, who's that?
Yeah, it's like it's Jason Wallner who did human giant and all kinds of things.
Is that a show?
It's like I want to say it's on not Peacock, maybe it is on Peacock.
Huh.
Where he's a real person, and he has a real thing that he's been doing for years. Is kind of a character, but they do a very, very funny thing with him, and it's hard to even explain.
All right then.
I think Paul Feynman is in the name.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna
Then
have
we
to check
watched The
that
Real
out.
Housewives. My wife and I watched all 14 seasons of The Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Oh my
because we
God.
were catching up. We had never seen it before.
Have you seen? I don't watch that one. Do you watch other ones of The Real Housewives?
Yes.
Which ones do you watch?
Beverly Hills,
Yeah, me too.
New Jersey,
Yes.
and Orange County.
Me
And
too.
also the hideous one in Salt Lake is pretty bad, but we watch it.
I only watch Beverly Hills, New Jersey, and Orange County. I mean, they're all so egregious, but it's like, okay, now I just give real quick before we end the show. So you're watching the current Jersey show, correct?
Yes.
I know not everybody who's listening to this is a fan, so this is why I'm leaving it to the last part. Teresa is with that new guy. And
Louis?
yeah, Louis. And so I'm wondering if you think Louis is going, because there's been a couple times on the show where she has tried to make the effort anyway to be a halfway decent person, because normally she's just not at all. And I'm
Yeah,
wondering.
she always goes through that mate where she's going to make up.
Yeah, she's
I'm
horrible.
Sorry, I overturned the table, that kind of thing.
Yeah, she is like a Trump supporter in my opinion. But anyway, and she probably is one. But do you think he's going to have a positive effect on her, or do you think it's going to be a negative in the long run?
Well, he makes me extremely nervous, that guy. I don't trust him when he goes to the. He does a thing like almost like where he goes, all right. You see a couple of men like him.
Mm-hmm.
Was it one in Orange County where or maybe it was Beverly Hills, the boyfriend of the woman who went out with Charlie Sheen.
Oh, right. Yes. Okay.
And they start to go, look, ladies. Whenever they get into that thing where they start to argue, and they, you can just see what's coming. You can just see. I think he's trouble because he's like, he seems a little crazy to me.
He does seem a little crazy, but
and I don't mean like clinically, but
no, just he's got that look in his eye, like he's right. He looks a little dangerous. So yeah,
he wears his guys the dead. He wears Teresa's dead father's new. It was new underwear.
Ew, that's gross.
Did you know that?
No.
Oh, that's one of the things.
Ew.
And he admitted to wearing.
Oh my God, that's so disgusting.
And it's like, why would you admit to that?
I know. Why would you want anyone
I do things
to
like
know?
that too, but I keep it hidden.
Well, the thing that blew my mind, I always watch it on Sunday nights. So, the last show, there was, the guy, Frank, I think that's his name.
Frank Catania.
Yeah. And he's a stoner. Did you see that episode?
That was a great episode.
Oh my God. And you know what?
If you watch only one episode,
yes,
watch them all getting high.
And here's what was so amazing about it. And I know that on these shows, these women know whether they get the cue to fight or they just know, okay.
Right. They know that's the purpose of the show.
Yeah. They're always fighting, and that's part of it. So, yeah. But
it's actually what makes the show. It's what makes the shows not good. Is it's so predictable what they're going to do.
Exactly. And I don't need them to fight all the time. But what was so funny about this is like all the women get together and they drink and they all treat each other like shit. And then the men get together and they all get high, and it's like this giggly love fest where they're all eating.
Yeah, that's a really great. When you see Joe Gorgo,
Yes.
And it's like, how could he not do this all the time? Why would he want?
Yes.
I mean, the thing is, I don't know how, if my constitution, if I did any of the intended drinking that any of those people did, I would be
Me too.
One of those people who gets sick immediately.
Wow. Yeah, I don't necessarily get sick immediately. I just feel like shit forever. I like feel really good for about an hour, and then I feel like shit for 3 days. So it's just not worth it for me. But yeah.
And we, my wife and I really hate Kenya with a passion. That's a very fun. It's a very fun hobby to get into. Hating Kenya.
Visiting Kenya?
No, hating Kenya.
Oh,
Kenya. not Kenya the country. Oh my God, you're going to get me in hot water with the Kenyans again.
The Kenyans are all against Andy Kindler now because of what he said on the Start Me Up
Atlanta
podcast.
has like shows where the first few years of Atlanta, it was almost like we are going to make a show where we want to see if people physically kill each other. Because they had that Kim Fields and
Really?
if you don't know
I
about
haven't
Atlanta,
watched it.
it's like
Yeah.
you don't know all the names, but they were like just insane. People came on the show insane.
Wow. Yeah, I tried to pare down. I mean, I used to watch the New York women, but then they bored me.
Oh, I do watch New York too. I do watch New York. It's a terrible show.
I wish that I wanted to watch all of them, but I guess I don't have the time. And it's certainly, Bob isn't into it. He just like, he's into some of the stuff that I like to watch, but he's certainly not into the Housewives. And we all like walk out when they're all screaming at each other drunk, and he just rolls his eyes, and it's like, yeah, but I love it, so don't say anything.
Well, how about that woman Caroline? No, she wasn't, but she knew Carol. Like
She was New
married to
Jersey.
Kennedy.
Wait, in New Jersey?
New York, I think it was.
Oh, I don't know
She's
that
so
one.
annoying for years.
Yeah, I don't even remember. It's been like 5 or 6 years since I've even watched a New York episode, so I just
Right.
don't even know. I can't keep up
you
with
don't
those
need
women.
it. Yeah, and I would. You know what I don't want to be?
Hmm.
I don't want to be one of these people. And God bless them, but the people, celebrities who specialize in watching the Housewives,
Oh,
and so then
right.
they go on the show, and then Andy Cohen quizzes them.
Yes.
I don't want to know the Housewives that well, where I know.
I've
Vanderpump.
had like minor fantasies of doing a show where I could talk about the Housewives, but I decided that I'd rather stay in politics because there's less hate.
That's right. It is really a field that has more horrible people than even politics.
Exactly. I mean when you get into pop culture on social media at this point now, you're not allowed to like certain things. People hate on you for liking certain things. Or, I mean, if you don't like the right song or the right it's like the anger over Superman and Star Wars. It's like, I just want to
You
enjoy.
really can't keep up with it.
No, and all I want to do is enjoy my shows, whether they're quality shows or just shitty shows like The Housewives. I just want to enjoy them, and I don't want any drama surrounding them outside of what drama is already in the show. So
I'll see what I can do. I'll see if I can make it happen for you.
all right,
Sounds like an assignment.
I just got to say thank you for once again coming on the show. You always make me laugh. I always love watching. Oh, and I want to convince you to go over to Spoutable. Dude, you have to set up a Spoutable account. Even if you don't.
Spoutable.
Spoutable, right? And even if you don't use it right away, just like get it ready. But here, let me tell you the secret. So you go over there and you set yourself up with the same name that you have on Twitter, the same handle. And because you're a legacy verified person, you just go, if you need help, I'll email you the instructions. But there's a way to get yourself rapidly verified. And it literally takes like a minute as long as you have the same handle that you have on Twitter. And then
Cool.
You'll at least be there and you'll just save your spot there. So,
well, because it's going. I mean, Twitter's going. So
yeah,
it's going to leave. It's not going to stay around, I don't think.
So hopefully I'll see you over on Spoutable. But so, of
Cool.
course, before I let you go, and other than Spoutable, tell everybody where to find you.
I am at Andy Kindler at Twitter, because I have a website that has not been updated in years, so don't go there. Well, unless you like to look at unless you like to look at my road dates in the 90s. And then Instagram, I'm Andy Kindler Superstar.
All right. Well, I should actually replace that in the Patreon because I do have your website. So I have to go follow you on Instagram. So look out for me following you. And then, oh my God, it was just so fun talking. And you can find me on Twitter. It's author Kimberly, but Twitter's dying. Spoutable, I'm Kimberly Johnson. Don't forget the extra ELEY. I'm on Amazon. Andy, thank you so much.
Thank you. This was great, Kimberly.
It's always great talking to you.